All right, guys. 2018. This movie is getting bigger and bigger day by day. This movie is exploding. This movie is huge. This movie is going to be one of the biggest blockbusters of all time in the Malayalam film industry, and hopefully all time in the Indian film industry. It's already crossed 100 crores, and that's the fastest any movie, any Malayalam movie has done. So yeah, there's a real potential for this movie to break all kinds of records in the Malayalam film industry. So, wow, what I did not expect this coming in at all, but this movie just keeps giving and keeps growing. So I'm going to react to another interview, this time with the whole crew. Thanks to Film Companion for running this one, but this has got everybody in it. Thanks for everyone that suggested me to watch this video after reviewing the previous one I did with just Tovino Thomas. Let me get straight into it.
Us to bring a movie to national attention. Work harder, smarter. We work overtime. And that's how we create these movies. We are not smoking it.
Jude, I really enjoyed your last film, Saras, but I could not imagine that the director of that film could also make this. Where did this come from?
It's a great teamwork, actually. We are very humbled to be here, and we are very thankful to all the people who came here to watch our film and to take some time to appreciate our hard work. It's pure teamwork, actually. Our full team is here, and we are very, very thankful to the Malayalis who created the script already in 2018. I just had to pen down those newspaper cuttings and the TV visuals only. So I am really thankful to the people of Kerala and people around the world who all love this film. So it's sheer hard work, and it's a great team I got, and I am very, very grateful to the whole team, especially the producer Venupanda Play sir, Andrew Joseph sir, and people
He guys deserves a special round of applause because this
Really
is
good start. I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that this was sort of a team effort. Even behind the scenes, it looks like it was a team effort because the movie is obviously a huge team effort with how many people involved. And obviously, they've just brought sort of a few people from the movie. But yeah, I haven't actually seen much of Jude, Anthony, Joseph, to be honest. Any other movies of his you guys recommend? Drop them in the comments. I really have only seen Tovino Thomas and Asif Ali from the crew that are here. But yep, great start. Good question to start with. Good response to just have that, make sure it's a team effort. That's first and foremost. That's the first thing that you think of when you think of this movie, the people that are involved. And the first thing you think of when you think of the people that were involved in this calamity. So great first question. Let's see how we keep going.
a very hard film to make, right? You shot 13 days in 2019, then the pandemic hits. It's many years, right? And I read that people were saying to you, forget about it, can't be done. Also saying to you, since you have dates of all these amazing actors, just make different films with them, right? But here's a producer who stuck through this, which takes nerves of steel. How did you do it?
Actually, in 2019, Jude started this one, but I came in picture only 2022 only. Oh, okay. And they shot that time, I think 12 or 13 days. We didn't use anything from that one. We freshly started the film. And when he narrated the story, actually it was not like a script, because I know what all this happened in Kerala, the flood. I was there that time. Then what I feel, it was it was like a normal story because there was not much cinematic things in the story. First I thought that it will be a challenge, but I know his caliber. Then always I am ready to take a risk. Then we thought that let try, but we got a very good result now, and I should appreciate the director because it was his vision only. When he narrated the story, never I expected this kind of a movie. That was the real thing.
When the three
Yeah,
of
it's
you,
actually, it's a good point. Like, this is a movie that I don't know how many movies there are with the same kind of genre in the Malayalam film industry or even the Indian film industry. Disaster movies are not really that common, and they're not actually, I haven't seen too many really good disaster movies. I'm talking out of Hollywood, really. There are a few that come to mind, but it is a big risk because a lot of them can just go south. So it's a huge risk, but interesting to see that it was kind of done over the span of a couple of years, including the pandemic. But it looks like it was a fresh start in 2022. And yeah, good on the producer for taking a risk, as he says, on this project, because it's definitely paying off. It's definitely paying him off right now. I'm sure he's pretty happy.
he told you this story. Did you envision this? Could you see it? Tovino, you didn't want to do it in the beginning, right?
Even none of us. The reason was different for me.
I know, because you thought that people might, because you actually worked when the floods happened. How did you do it?
No, he said he had a technique. And he didn't tell me what the technique is. So that was the first lure. And he had a blueprint or something which he followed and kept with him. He never showed it to anyone. And he told me, if you are not doing this movie, I'm not doing this. And I was emotionally broken. Okay. And he narrated me the script and gave me the script to read. And I read the script and I cried. Not one time, many times. So I didn't want to miss this movie for any reason. So I said yes. And when he said this, I didn't know what technique he had, but the kind of confidence he had when he told me that, I wanted to trust him.
Asif and Tanvi, for you?
For me, I read almost 3 versions of the script. I wanted this to be very cinematic. I never wanted something like a documentary kind of filmmaking. I wanted to be very cinematic because this is something which happened in our generation, which we all have experienced. So I wanted it to be more real, more kind of filmy. Yeah. So I went almost 3 times through the final screenplay.
That's interesting because I just recently watched the movie Virus. That basically, because of this movie, I think that movie also got a bit of attention because it's kind of similar. But that movie really feels like a documentary. And it's one of the sort of criticisms, if you can call it, of that movie. It is a very, matter-of-fact movie. And obviously the subject matter is very different in that it's dealing with a kind of, epidemic virus kind of thing. But that one really felt like a documentary. And, this movie, they didn't do that at all. It definitely felt filmy. It was definitely engaging. It was an entertainment piece. Even if this was fictional, this would be entertaining because it's done more in a, dramatic, cinematic way. So I think that's really important. Really interesting about Tovino Thomas as well, being roped in. I'm glad they did rope him in. It seems like he was made for this movie, the perfect kind of role for him, especially with his background and history with helping people out in the floods. So yeah, thank you, Jude and Anthony. It's I'm glad that this all worked out and you got Tovino Thomas to be the lead in this movie because yeah, perfect role for the perfect person. I think it just works out perfectly.
He's the man. He made this. He took all the effort. The 4 years he spent for this film. I had almost 20 days shoot. Even we had 25 days of shoot. Each of us had like 25 days of shoot. But this guy went through 3 years for this film. And
I had around 50 days of shoot.
50 days in water.
I will never forget those shooting days.
I want to get to that, but Tanvi, what was it for you?
So for me, it was Anthony sir who called me first. So he just told me you'll get a call, and Jude Anthony is the director. And I was halfway there. I just wanted to say yes. I just wanted him to call and then say yes. And then that was actually my second movie. I just started my career, and this was the second call I'm getting. And then is when I got to know this is the base. I mean, the floods, what happened in 2018 is the base. And then we started shooting. So I was also part of this movie since the early stages of the shoot. And then due to many reasons, it got delayed. And I guess for around 2.5, 3 years, it got delayed. And I used to keep messaging Juliet and in between asking, would you drop it? Because I could hear people asking me, I put a photo with Tovino, and then each and every person I meet, they go, what happened to that movie? And I'm like, yeah, it's coming up. And then obviously then people were saying maybe they've dropped it because it's been really long. And then again, we started shooting, which I was really happy. And I guess it's been a long wait for me also. And then finally seeing the entire team's, each and every casting crew's hard work throughout, and then finally seeing this movie in big screen, seeing the reaction and response from people, and like the standing ovation we get at the end of the movie. I guess I just cannot explain on how happy that feeling is.
So you created
Yeah, there was definitely a standing. No, there was a standing ovation when I watched it in cinema here, but there was a pretty long applause for this movie. Yeah, it was fantastic. It deserved. It was, yeah. Everyone was in the same boat as you. When you're watching this movie, it just felt so communal. The theater experience for this movie was. I couldn't have picked a better movie as my first movie to watch for the Malayalam film industry. To be honest, it's a perfect cinematic experience. Not just the fact that you're watching in the cinema is awesome, just the fact that you're around so many people who honestly have probably, some of them were probably affected quite closely to this. So my respect to everyone that went through anything like this at all. It's pretty heartbreaking. I'm just a spectator here and trying to just, join the ride, but really enjoying it.
And then basically just flooded it.
That was the technique. The blueprint.
That was the blueprint, right? So what was a day on this set like? What? Were you guys just drenched through it?
For me, it starts after the sunset till the sunrise. Oh.
Actually, if you can, my DOP, my art director, my editor is here, and music director is gone for a vacation.
Yes, right there.
They have done a very fantastic job.
So the plan was very tight. The master plan was very brilliant on papers, but it's very difficult to
Implement.
execute the plan because we have so many thoughts, and we all are like the hardworking human beings at night, because everybody was in the water, especially DOP was in the water till his neck, I guess. So those nights were really terrible nights we had, but all those hard work paid off very well. And the whole team is very thankful for that. Everybody is here. My full team is here. I am just missing my sound designer, Vishnu Govind, because he is busy with some other film. And Nobin Paul, the music director, he has gone for vacation. Don Vincent, another guy who did the additional background score, he has also gone for vacation. And many other people, my ADs, my associates.
Everybody wanted so badly.
I want to just touch on one point here about this. Okay, this is the reason why this movie works so well, in my opinion. This movie is authentic. This movie is real. Like this movie, you can tell these people put a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of heart. They sacrifice a lot to do this kind of movie, I think. Because like the movie that's starting to come to mind for me, especially as of late, is the movie Top Gun Maverick. Again, the reason why that movie works so well was because in an age and a time of like CGI heavy movies, what Top Gun Maverick did was it said, we're not doing any of that stuff anymore. No green screens. We're taking fighter jets out into the air and we're recording everything. And they created something amazing. But you could tell that there's something real and authentic about the way they shot that movie. What Jude Anthony has just said in this, little interview right here, it's authentic, it's real. There's people, you know, the director of photography got down to his neck recording. Tovino Thomas and Asif Ali and everyone, basically, they were all, you know, multiple days of being shot in the rain the whole time. And it's more than that. They were in the mud at times, I saw. Like, there was all kinds of stuff going on in this movie. So yeah, it shows, you know. That's why I really like this movie. It's authentic, it's real, and that's why you feel so close to what's happening because of that realism, which you can't replicate with CGI. You can't do it with VFX. They have the time and place, but movies like this show how important it is to do things the old-fashioned way, if you want to call it that. I do want to give a special mention to the sound designer. I think he was fantastic. I talked about it in my own review about how the sound design was so good in this movie, because when you watch the movie in cinema, you actually feel like you're surrounded by rain the whole time. It's incredible. Pretty cool, I have to say.
Yeah, he was just calling me and saying that, please mention my name. He's so proud that we all are very much proud to be part of this movie. So this is as I said earlier, this is a teamwork, and I am really humbled by this reception in Mumbai, which, like, our dream is to make a film which can be reached to all the Indians, at least, if you say. So we are very thankful to be here, and I don't know what to say, but we
I
are
would like to add
speechless.
something to it. He was the captain of the ship, and he was not the one who stood behind. He was in the front to lead us. And usually what happens is directors will be having a very safe place with the monitor, with the mic and the all setup. And us actors will be drenched in the water or wherever we are, we'll be. And Jude was very different from that. He is generally hyperactive, and
and very short-tempered.
And very short-tempered. But
That is the highlight.
and he was in the water with us.
Wow.
And at 5 in the morning, like generally we start shooting at 6 in the evening till 6 in the morning. So we'll wait for the sun to come up to stop the shooting. Generally what happens is we'll wait for the sun to go down to stop shooting. And he was in the water with a raincoat, with a piece of paper and a pen. And he has written the number of shots, all the shots which he has to take that day. And he'll strike one after we shoot it. And our DOP, he's a very friend of mine. We used to do short films back in 2011. He was director back then. And he
also shot Kala.
Kala. And
Yes.
Kala's director, Rohit, was the production controller in that short film. And so, seriously.
The best short film ever. Look what came out of it. Maybe not.
But that was in 2011.
Right.
It was just beginning.
Yes.
We didn't know anything back then. And we worked in Forensic, Kala, and now in this movie, I know him very well. He is generally very lazy, but when it comes to work, like, he is very hardworking. And when Jude says, Akhil, let's shoot this shot, then he'll be like, I don't want to shoot. Okay,
Give me some recommendations for Tovino Thomas comedy movies, because this is hilarious. This guy has full bagging on his friend. Yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah, that's it. Like, he doesn't want to move his body at all because it's very cold. It's very cold. But he didn't want to say no to whatever he says. And I've seen them fighting. I've seen them fighting, and once I tried breaking the fight, and I wanted, Jude, please, Akhil, please, shoot it, come, let's shoot. Then both of them went both sides. Then I was like, okay.
What am I doing here?
I'm the star here, and I'm standing in the water, and they have gone. So I went to the caravan. After some time, I saw both of them coming into my caravan. And I asked, okay, now you compromise. We are like husband and wife. We'll fight every day, but it doesn't mean that we are going to divorce. Come on, let's shoot. That's how the shoot went on.
Oh, this is funny.
But right, he's a man possessed, right? He went through 4 years writing, rewriting. I read that you finally used the 14th draft.
12th draft.
12th draft, okay? So he's obsessed with this idea. He needs to make it happen. But the three of you, did you ever have a day on set where you're like, I'm just sitting here, I'm wet. Like, what's going on? Why did I say yes to this? Did you ever have that moment?
No, because I was never.
You were a guy.
But we were like completely in water.
Yes.
So,
We
ever?
didn't have an option. One day while we were doing the helicopter sequence, so it was very cold. It was 2 or 3 in the night, and there was this rain unit pouring rain on us, and we had these 2 propellers suspended on a crane to recreate the wind from the helicopter, and it was very cold, and I wanted to run away from the sets, and I cannot sleep with all these wet clothes and all, and I wanted to run away, and I was like I was angry, but I don't show them out, but I was like, why did I come in this movie? I was a software engineer. Why did I choose this profession? That's what. It was that cold, and I was about to complain. That's when I saw Shantakumari Chechi. She's a very senior artist. You can see in that airlift sequence, she's the one who comes out of the bus and says, "They're talking. Let them talk." It's her. She is about 70.
Wow.
And while I was complaining, while I was being angry, I saw her like for every shot, she is very actively participating. She doesn't have a caravan. She doesn't have assistants, nothing. But she was my inspiration. I thought, okay, how can I complain? I am young. I work out. I say I'm healthy. No, I'm not. Then I didn't complain. From that day, I stopped complaining. I stopped thinking that way. If she can do that,
there were so many supporting cast. They were 5 years old. They were 70 years old. Everybody was having that same spirit.
And the Ebin, child, his role was not easy at all.
His acting, I was actually, he was really impressive. I actually really enjoyed his performance, especially towards the end when he sort of, when they're trapped. I think there's one scene when the gecko falls, and it's such a good scene because it's like they're all calm and it's like this is the end. They're all accepting it. They're gonna just take it, as peacefully as they can. But then when the gecko falls on him, he just exemplifies how scared everyone is and the real feelings they have about what's going on. Just wanted to mention that it's pretty. Yeah, but he's right. There was all kinds of cast. There's a whole, which made it the whole community, right? The whole community was there. It was old people, young people, kids, men, women. Everyone was involved with this in different circumstances everywhere. There were students, there were elderly people, there were people in the military, there were fishermen. It was such a good representation of society, actually, in a way.
When you're lying down, your face up, and when rain is falling on your face, how do you act dead?
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy. Like I've been there. It's not easy. And while I'm doing this, the CPR, after the shot, he'll open his eyes and cheta padukke. And like he's a kid, and after the shot, he is telling, please don't push so hard. So, and he, while shooting also, the way he screams, way he performs, for us, it was like real. We came to the mood just because of that scream.
Yeah.
And Sudhi Shetty, if I start mentioning names, I love to mention every name, like everyone stood together.
Even Lal sir.
Very gentleman. Everyone, like this is a recreation of what happened in 2018. In another sense also, all these artists, all these technicians, we all came together and we had this feeling that this is our movie. We have to make this movie. We all are busy with our own movies, but this movie was special. So we had to like manage our dates so that we all can come together. And we have acted in many movies together, but we haven't had
Never in a frame.
In a frame, we haven't had a single combination shot.
We have done
Virus,
yeah.
YouTube routers,
but never in a single frame together.
We all wanted this movie to.
All of us were very emotionally connected to this film.
Of course.
That was the common factor. That was the common energy pulling us.
Jude, how did you decide?
Well, I think it would be the same thing that happened in Virus, right? I think that would have been the same thing, that pulling factor. Yeah, of course, how can you not get emotional about being involved with something like this? It's pretty impressive.
Between practical in-camera effects and digital effects.
Yeah, actually, the main credit goes to the art director and DOP and the VFX team. Mindstein Studios is the name of the VFX company. Okay. And we have sat together for at least around 16 meetings, I guess, before the shoot. We had this storyboard thing, and we had planned what to shoot and what to not shoot. The C sequences were the major portions in the VFX area. So only around 160 shots, only I think 10 shots were the major VFX portion. Other full portions was shot on a location called Vaikam in Kerala. So the entire credit goes to my full team: the art director, the DOP, the editor, the VFX supervisor.
So it looks like, I remember that scene. I don't know, you can't shoot that one practically because they're literally in the middle of the ocean in that scene. But yeah, look, this is what I sort of mentioned about the authenticity. All the other shots were shot just on location. So that really speaks, that's a common trend. Top Gun Maverick did the same thing. This movie did the same thing. They're both blockbusters. There's a commonality right there. So this formula works. I think more people need to look into this kind of stuff and just start doing more practical stuff. Forget the CGI if you don't know how to use it. And that's a strength that India can really play to. Movies like this are going to break the box office. I really hope, my only hope is, again, Jude and Anthony said something again along the lines of, it's a movie that all Indians can appreciate. It's not a movie all Indians can appreciate. It's a movie that everyone can appreciate. There's no reason why this movie would not appeal to other people. Other disaster movies that I've seen in Hollywood, they don't appeal to a specific, like demographic or anything like that. They appeal to everyone. So, I hope that something that can start to change in the minds of people, and it becomes more like, look, it's really a movie that has international appeal, because what they're doing is human emotions. It's about, we've all been in situations or feared situations of natural disaster and how we would react to that. That's what this movie showed us so well. So I really hope that starts shifting in the mindset of Indian cinema.
Supervisors, the guys who worked in the VFX team, because we finalized the portion only on May 1st, I guess, because I was talking to the team, VFX guys, saying that it's not completed. You have to still work again and again. Because if it comes to OTT, no one should take a screenshot and say that the CG is very bad. So they are still working on it. We can do better. If we see the film now, me and my DOP, my editor, and everybody was talking like that. We should have done better. So that's the team spirit, and the pre-production was the main highlight of this film. So we had time. We took many meetings and many discussions. So that was the plus point of this hard work. Like, we did the homework very nice. So
when you guys were shooting this, did you, because it's very recent, right? It's not like, it's not an old story that you're telling. It's very fresh in people's memory. And there's always a thin line between, telling a story with empathy, but you could also be exploiting a horrific tragedy, which, resulted in almost 500 deaths. And you bring that empathy, every character is so moving, and every, you want to reach out to them. I mean, when you went in for those certificates, I wanted to scream and say, don't do it. Please, this is such a bad idea. How did you find that balance when you were writing it?
I thank to all the filmmakers who did.
Really courageous question to ask, actually. It's a really good point. When, towing that line between exploitation and actually showing genuine empathy for the situation, I think they did it perfectly. And I think that's what the first half of this movie really does well. I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much focus on the first half. Although I did read a lot of people, if they do have criticisms about this movie, it seems to be about the first half. And I can understand that because it's not as probably exciting as sort of when the floods come in. But look, I kind of understand what they were trying to do here. And they were trying to build real people in this scenario, right? They weren't characters that, we could forget. Everyone had a story. Everyone had a purpose. Everyone had their own life that they were living. Everyone had their own struggle that they were going through. But, at the end of the day, they all came together. So I think that's what the first half really focused on and did really well. But yeah, it'd be interesting. It seems like Jude Anthony seems to always give a lot of credit to everyone around him before he even starts talking about himself or any other to answer the question at all. So credit to him, man. Seems like a very humble kind of person.
Did films like my seniors in Malayalam industry and Indian cinema, and to the extent world cinema also. So I thank all the filmmakers who did the same thing before. They have done it before. They have showed us the human emotion is the best way to convey a film. Like there's a shot in Jurassic Park. I am not comparing my film with Jurassic Park. I'm just saying there is one shot with a glass of water, and when the dinosaur is coming, this shot is showing just the water is trembling. So that's how they did it. So they have already used this idea, and I had to just copy it from many filmmakers. So I thank all the filmmakers in the world. Copying inspiration, whatever it may. But I really thank you all the filmmakers in the world.
Wow.
Especially my guru. Like I haven't worked with Priyadarsan sir, but he's my guru. So he has done many things. He has shot the film Kalapani in 43 days. So that's a magic he has done already. This is how we should inspire from other people. My plan is to be a better filmmaker, be a better human being after each and every film. So this is my tribute to my gurus in the world, everybody. Thank you.
So of course the film is a smash hit, right? Shows are being added. Tovino, I've been looking at your social media. There's just such elation around it. Do you feel as a producer sort of validated? Because you've stood through it. I mean, finally you're writing the check. That's a tough position to be in. Do you feel that this is the kind of movie that would bring people back into theaters? Because that's now the whole conversation, right? That how do we get people back in?
When the shooting and the post-production was...
Yeah, no, I'll just sort of talk on that a little bit. It's definitely a great point. How do we get people back in cinemas? It's through movies like this, man. It's through movies like this. It's through movies like Top Gun Maverick, I think, which I keep mentioning. Because I think that's so many parallels between these two movies. I think that movie completely surprised everybody, and it brought everyone back to the cinema. Old, young, people that heard of the original before, people that haven't heard of the original, all sort of coming back to see that movie. In a similar way, this movie is also obviously doesn't have that whole backstory, but it's just got such good word of mouth and such good praise. That's the reason why I went to see it, to be honest. Like I had actually seen some reviews for this movie, very high level reviews, but they were all talking very highly about it. So when I saw that it was playing, here in Melbourne, down the road from me, I just thought, yep, sure, why not? Let me go check it out and see how it is. I think it was actually Tovino Thomas who actually posted on Twitter about where it's playing in Australia, and it had, you know, Victoria and Melbourne, and it had the cinema near my house. So, you know, there you go. Social media and marketing. That's how you get people to come to your movies. People are online now. It's easier than ever to reach people. Don't need a big commercial. Don't need a big radio ad. Don't need anything. It's just right at your fingertips.
Was going on, actually, my expectation was not this much. I thought that, we can do good business in OTT, satellite and all. And in Kerala, maybe we can do some business. Because, this in 23, almost 75 movie released. And I think one movie only worked out. That is the situation. That means, the people are not coming to many reasons. We don't know the reason exactly. Out of this 74, there was a lot of good movies also.
With that, opening it up to the house, do we have questions here?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
So I loved the movie and I really expect.
All right, guys. So I think we're going to end it there. So I definitely will be editing this a little bit. So if you see any cuts in between, it's just because, I'm not reacting much or there's not much happening or it's a conversation outside of the movie. So I'll try and keep it as short and sharp as I can and just talk about the points that I think really I had to speak about. This was a really fantastic interview with these guys. You can tell how much good banter, good chemistry they have, even offset. So enjoy to watch, seriously. And yeah, I really do hope this movie does make it to the 100th day theatrical release because, I mean, at this point it probably will. I don't know if it's going to make it here in Australia to 100 days. That would be amazing if it made it internationally to 100 days. Theatrical release, that's like 3 months and a bit. That would be astounding. But look, in Kerala, I think it definitely can. And look, it's gotten off to such a hot start. And I'm sure people are just going to keep coming in and keep watching this movie. Again, I would have loved to see this movie gone and played somewhere in LA or in America or, London, wherever there's sort of a community for Indians. Basically, I think, Indians everywhere. So it's not like it's hard to capture the minds. And I think Malayalis are also everywhere. So it's definitely something that's of interest to a lot of people. Look, I'm just so happy for this movie and so happy for all the people involved. You can tell how humble everyone is in this industry. Like they all just keep praising other people and they keep directing their accolades to others rather than taking it themselves. So really impressive. Really enjoyed this movie. Again, if you want to see more of me talking about this movie, I've done a review for it. I've done another reaction video for it. But yeah, look, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Really, I'm hoping for the best. And if you're new here, do subscribe. Check out our channel. We do lots of Malayalam content. We're really growing really fast as of late. So we'd love for you to join us and, leave a comment on what you thought. Till next time, guys. See ya.